The shooting studio in downtown Beijing that day was full of hustle and bustle. The crew is busy moving the lights, putting together the backdrop, and preparing the costumes. The renowned magazine that will feature Chen Feiyu and Dilraba in its special autumn issue has been designing the concept for months. The theme of the photo shoot this time was romance in elegance, showing the classic as well as the modern side of two big rising stars. Dilraba came first, wearing an ivory white satin long dress. Her hair is styled simply, but her charm radiates by itself. He greeted the crew kindly, then sat down in the makeup chair for the final touch of makeup. Shortly thereafter, Chen Feiyu entered the studio. Dressed in a modern black suit with a neat cut, he looked like a young prince. All eyes were immediately on her, including Dilraba, who couldn't help but smile a little at the masculine aura that radiated. "Good morning," Chen Feiyu greeted with a warm smile. "Morning," Dilraba replied briefly, but his tone was soft. From the beginning, the atmosphere was different. There's something in the air that's hard to explain, a mixture of suspense, curiosity, and enthusiasm. Briefing from the photographer. The main photographer, a well-known professional named Su Liang, stood in front of them. "We're going to take some concepts today. First, you two stand next to each other with elegant expressions. Then, we'll move on to more intimate poses, like holding hands, looking at each other, maybe even leaning against each other." Those words made some of the crew hold back a smile, well aware that more intimate meant there would be moments of closeness that could ignite rumors. Chen Feiyu and Dilraba glanced at each other briefly. There is a sense of awkwardness, but also a kind of hidden expectation. First pose. Aligned. Shooting begins with simple poses. The two stood in line, looking straight into the camera. Spotlights highlight their faces, creating dramatic shadows in the background. Although there was no physical interaction yet, the distance of just a few centimeters made the atmosphere feel intense. Every time their shoulders almost touched, Dilraba's heart beat faster. Chen Feiyu, on the other hand, tried to keep a serious expression even though her heart was a little restless. Click, click. Camera noise filled the room. "Well done," says the photographer. "Now try to get closer." Feiyu leaned slightly towards Roba. Chen Feiyu did it. Just a small movement, but enough to make Dilraba feel the warmth of his body. Second pose. A binding gaze. Now they are asked to look at each other. It felt awkward at first, but over time, the gaze was like forming a personal space that only they had. Dilraba felt her eyes attracted, as if there was a strong magnet in Chen Feiyu's eyes. He tried to hold back a smile, but his lips trembled slightly. Chen Feiyu, with a deep and sincere look, made everyone on the set transfixed. The photographer praised them. "Amazing. You have natural chemistry." But behind that gaze, the two were actually struggling to hold back something deeper than just professionalism. First touch. The next scene demanded that Chen Feiyu touch Dilraba's hand. His hand slowly grabbed his opponent's delicate hand. Instantly, there is a spark that is difficult to explain. Their fingers touched, then clasped slowly. Even if it's just a pose, the warmth feels real. Dilraba lowered her head for a moment, trying to disguise the blush on her cheeks. Chen Feiyu noticed the small change, making him smile faintly. The crew around started whispering, realizing there was something more than just a formal pose. Unexpected laughter. As the photographer asked them to get closer more intimately, Chen Feiyu was standing behind Dilraba, her arms wrapped around the actress's waist. The mood suddenly changed. Dilraba was amused that Chen Feiyu's hair had accidentally touched her neck. He held back his laughter, but finally burst out in a big smile. Chen Feiyu laughed along, her crisp voice filling the studio. The photographer wanted to stop, but instead captured the moment. The result is surprising. A photo with natural laughter that radiates warmth is much more beautiful than a serious pose. Chatter in the middle of a break. During the break, they sat side by side over a cup of warm tea. "Why were you laughing?" Chen Feiyu asked with a glance. "Your hair is so itchy," Dilraba answered honestly, chuckling. Chen Feiyu lowered her head, slightly embarrassed. I guess I was too nervous. The light conversation made the atmosphere more intimate. The crew, looking from a distance, could only look at each other, as if harboring a big secret. Intimate pose. Backrest. After the break, they returned to the set. This time, the photographer asked for a more romantic pose. Dilraba leaned on Chen Feiyu's shoulder. As Dilraba's head completely touched his shoulder, Chen Feiyu held her breath. The soft scent of Dilraba perfume smelled, making it difficult to focus. Dilraba herself felt comfortable, as if finding a safe place in the center of the camera's spotlight. Click, click. The photos show something that cannot be faked, a sense of calm and genuine intimacy. An accidental whisper. In one of the poses, the photographer asked Chen Feiyu to whisper in Dilraba's ear so that her facial expression looked natural. Chen Feiyu approached, her voice low and warm. "Don't be tense. Just pretend we're talking normally." But the effect is exactly the opposite. Dilraba gets goosebumps, her face turns red, and her expression looks so real on camera. The photographer praised the result, not realizing that the expression was not acting, but rather an honest reaction from the heart. Social media hype. A few weeks later, the photos were published. Photos of Chen Feiyu and Dilraba went viral. Fans meet the comments column. Their gazes are so real. It's not acting anymore. Why does it look like a couple? Best chemistry this year, no match. Rumors spread. The media began to write articles about the closeness behind the shooting. Although both agencies have dismissed the issue, the public is increasingly convinced that there is something more than just professional cooperation. Their reaction. Dilraba read the comments with a small smile. "They're too imaginative," he tells himself, though his heart is pounding because there's little truth behind the speculation. Chen Feiyu, when interviewed, only smiled mysteriously when asked about the relationship with Dilraba. "He's an amazing partner. Working with him is always a pleasure," he said. A diplomatic answer, but the look in his eyes implied more. Unforgettable moments. For Chen Feiyu and Dilraba, the shoot became more than just a job. It was a moment in which they felt a warmth that is difficult to describe. Laughter, gazes, and small touches that leave an imprint on the heart. The crew knew something was unusual, and although they kept the secret tight, the scattered photos were enough to give the world a clue. Eternal closeness in pictures. Days go by, new projects come and go. But every time the public looks back at the photos from the photo shoot, there is always the same feeling. Genuine intimacy, an unadulterated closeness. Chen Feiyu and Dilraba had probably never openly admitted to anything. But one thing is certain, in a series of photographs frozen by cameras, their closeness will always live, enduring as an unforgettable sweet story.